'cause you got me through my darkest days, the days that never go away. I promise you one thing, I won't be a stranger no more. I know I've been here before.
Firstly, I wouldn't class myself as a musician at all. But I'd say, yeah, I've definitely always been interested in music. I've always enjoyed performing on stages. So I think as we were growing up, there's a lot of bands, friends were in bands and stuff like that around us, so it was kind of something I always wanted to do and did, so that was good. I kind of grew up listening to the type of music we play, so Flogging Molly obviously a big one, the Pogues were a huge one, but I wouldn't say one particular artist, although maybe Frank Turner was a big one, but just the whole kind of genre really.
Well, honestly, I never thought about being in a band when I was a kid. I never took music or had music lessons or anything. Music's always been a massive part of my whole life from my family. I went to like V98 festival when I was 2, saw Green Day. Must have been during the Dookie period. The house was always filled with like Motown, blues, reggae, metal, from 90s dance music and everything really. My first CD was Avril Lavigne, Let Go. Back in the day. I mean, we listened to her all the time in the band van now, like no shame. But she was a huge influence. Seeing that she can go out there and be a tomboy and sing about boys and sing about life and sing about being a girl and not be in a kind of super overproduced girl band like a lot of them at the time. But yeah, like Avril came along and just like changed the game. I had pictures all over the wall, lyrics scribbled out on the wall next to my bed, and I think that must have played a big part in my direction.
Yo! Did I always want to be in a band and an artist that inspired me? I've always wanted to be in a band. I've kind of always played in a band. Been playing drums since I was about 8. Picked it up in school. Yeah, and I absolutely love it. And I'd love to do it full time, maybe one day. And an artist that inspired me have to be Buddy Holly, or drummer wise it'd be Travis Barker.
Yeah, I suppose it was my dad always used to have music on the house as far back as I can remember. Yeah, he just had this huge wall of records. On Saturdays, we used to quite often go to Chichester and go round a couple of record shops. Like there was a few independent ones, and buy a CD for like £1. You know, whatever you like the look of, I suppose. He used to just be driving back in his old clapped out car back to Bognor and we'd be reading the liner notes on the CD. You're going, wow. You get back and, you know, put it on and, yeah, just listen to music for the afternoon. It was really cool. And I didn't really have any inkling of actually playing or being in a band or anything until I actually started playing an instrument.
Did I always want to be in a band? I can't remember a time where I didn't think that being in a band was just the coolest thing imaginable. But I can remember long car journeys when I was a kid with like my CD Walkman, my headphones on, listening to some Meatloaf or some Billy Bragg, and then getting into like Iron Maiden and stuff like that later on. But I never really thought that I would ever end up doing it, but I'm so happy that I've ended up with that as my outlet. It's some of the best fun you could ever imagine. There were a couple of like bands that I was jamming in, never really made it to actually gigging, so Blackwater County was my first gigging experience as a band. A slow realisation of, oh, actually, people in bands are just friends playing music with each other, and literally anyone can do it. So, no excuse. 3 chords, that's all you need. G, C, D, maybe the odd E. That's it, done.
I remember I was playing football at the time, so maybe like year 5 or 6 was when I started learning guitar, so I don't know how old you are at that age, but then. And it's not something I think as a younger age than that I was obviously particularly interested in, but I don't think you would be. I played recorder at first school as everyone does, but other than that I wouldn't say it was like a passion of mine until I started playing guitar. But then I got into playing guitar because of Green Day, so the American Idiot album, which would actually say when I got into playing guitar was 2004. So
So I didn't know how to play any instruments when I first joined the band. They asked me if I wanted to jump up and join them on a song which involved like a girl and a guy part in the vocals. And I was like, hell yeah. Yeah, so I just learnt a handful of songs from the set list on the tin whistle and showed up to this practice like, bam, surprise. Started jamming along, and that was that really. Then I went from just being a guest on one of their songs to joining in for a handful of songs in the second set, and then like gradually it grew from there. Fate would have it, the tin whistle found its way into my life, and here we are today.
I think I was about 12 when I first started buggering about the guitar. I think my dad had a guitar. I think we worked out how to tune it once. Mum and stepdad ran like a guest house. One time we found this, it was a Yamaha electric guitar, back when macro was good and stocked all sorts of random crap. It was reduced because it was broken. And so we picked it up for fuck all to figure out how to fix it first, which is a useful skill to have nowadays, especially with Tim in the band. Sorry, Tim. It was a right-handed guitar. I'm left-handed, basically taught myself on that. Yeah, I didn't start playing any of the diddly stuff until we started Blackwater, actually. They're all the same thing, really, aren't they? It's just strings and frets.
Picked it up when I was 8. Was kind of a bit of a dick when I was younger, a lot younger, and couldn't sit still. I was a nightmare in school. My dad actually took me to see like a specialist because I just wasn't behaving. I guess it was like the ADHD kind of thing, and the specialist said buy me a drum kit, and the rest is history.
I did learn an instrument as a child. I played the piano. Oh my god, I had this woman called Rosemary, and she insisted on lots and lots of proper classical music, and I just kind of fell out of love with it. I got a few grades in. I was doing it for quite a few years, but I just completely lost the will to do it. Then when I was in school, I picked up guitar. I was no good at that. And then when I joined Blackwater, they said, "Wait, Tim, as well as singing, do you fancy having a go on the bass?" And my god, I sucked. It was painful. But even with the barest minimum of skill, such as you find with me, anyone can have a bash at an instrument. And if you do something for long enough, especially in front of people, you do pick stuff up.
Just any venue in the whole world. I'm going to go Wembley Stadium. I mean, how could you not say Wembley Stadium of all the gig venues in the entire world? So yeah, that would definitely be my choice.
I'd love to play Glastonbury Festival because I haven't played it yet. That would be really cool. It's this world-renowned epic festival that I'm sure everyone's heard of, and it's on our doorstep. Salty Dog Cruise, Flogging Molly's thing, would be amazing. That would be absolutely epic. Our mate Guy has been on it, and well, lots of our mates have been on it countless times. We'd love to do that. Yeah. We've played lots of the little venues that I always used to go see bands in, which is really cool. Kentish Town Forum in London, that would be really cool. If we could get on a line-up there, that would be amazing. Same with Brixton Academy. Alexandra Palace, if we could even play a note in the foyer, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Okay, I have seen a few concerts on like YouTube and TV at Red Rocks in America. I think that's what it's called. Oh, it looks so cool. I think that would be wicked. What an absolute dream. I know I speak for the rest of the band when I say like we would absolutely love to play on the Salty Dog Cruise. For anyone who doesn't know, it's Flogging Molly puts on this like birthday kind of like celebration cruise ship all around America. So many smashing bands play it every year, and there's concerts and chaos that happens on the ship, and you park up at islands, and there are other festivals and stuff going on. Oh my god, it sounds wicked. So hopefully one day, maybe one day, like all those birthday candle wishes, man.
Not so much venue. I would have loved to play the Warped Tour growing up watching it. Obviously I can't because it's gone now. But venue-wise, reachable one. I'd love to play 100 Club just because of the history there, but anywhere that puts your name up outside with like now showing, anywhere like that.
Something that would be cool to play would be just once to see how it was. Would be something like Coachella in the US, just to go there and see how it lives up to UK festivals, because I firmly believe that we have the best festivals in the whole world, full stop. No arguments whatsoever. But I think anything that big with that much money behind it has got to be something to see. So I think going to Coachella would be a really, really interesting experience. But like beautiful days, all the other just smashing festivals that the UK has, nowhere else competes. We have one of the best festival circuits in the world.
The early days it was tough, we gigged a lot. Obviously it was fantastic, but we were playing 3 to 4 gigs pretty much every weekend for at least a year, probably 2 years. God bless Gav for driving us between all the gigs because we were covering some miles and putting in some really long weekends and working on top of that. So it was definitely a tough time, but definitely worth it because we built a really good building block to kind of push ourselves on from there. So yeah, hard work, but definitely worth it. And we met so many amazing people along the way as well. But also just the fans we've met along the way as well. All the Fueled by Side lot, that all happened very early on for us, which was huge for us. Meeting the likes of, obviously, the Skimity Hitchers, Mike Lacey, but then Gaia. It's been a huge one for us as well, so Gaia was very important. So yeah, those early days were great.
In the early days, it was a bit different to how it is now, for sure. We were pubbing it up every weekend, just around Dorset. I loved it. I joined the band when I was 16. And we'd be playing in these random ass pubs in little villages and getting the rousing of 6 Guinnesses when I was only 16. It was heaven. It was great. There were a few occasions where we'd be loading in and bringing all the gear in, and then loads of bouncers would turn up, or like door staff and stuff, and they'd be like, "Where's your ID?" I'd be like, I don't have any, I'm 16. Sorry love, you can't come in. I was like, but please, I'm in the band, look, I'm carrying mic stands. But yeah, it was smashing. Generally first getting out and about in the early years, meeting other bands and seeing how they do it was incredibly impactful. Keeping up with them and the sleepless nights and the pints and meeting so many venue owners and promoters and random tag-alongs and hearing all the stories. It was like every day is something new. I'm glad that Gav and Brad in the first few years kind of held the reins over the business side, the logistics and the tech stuff, because I had no idea. Things have gotten a little bit easier now, but yeah, back in the day, like, we couldn't have got where we were now if it wasn't for the adults of the band.
The first couple of practices, as I'm sure Brad and Tim will agree, were diabolical. None of us had any idea what we were doing. Like, bloody hot glue to pick up to my mandolin. I bought for like 20 quid. But yeah, loads of stupid stuff. Ended up playing lots of the local pub circuit and that sort of thing. When you started branching out a bit, like, Kitty O'Hanlon's in Plymouth we used to play at, but that would be a mad day because I had all the gear in the shed I was living in. And I had the van. It was just a little short wheelbase thing. So we'd have a 6-piece band in the van, and then in the back you'd fit, your drum kit, amps, all your instruments, and a PA system because we had to take that with us as well. Try and get out of the area by like 3:30, 4ish, so you could get to Plymouth in time to set up and sound check, and then you break it all down and get it back in the van and drive back. I mean, I think I was lucky if I got home by 4 a.m. those nights. So it was cool. It was a lot of crazy work, but it was cool.
So BWC in the early days was pub gigs. Just that sums up about 3-4 years of my life is just pub gigs every weekend relentlessly. There was one, it was like a half term, or it was I think it might have been Valentine's weekend or something, and we played I think it was 5 gigs over 2 days, but it was a stupid number of shows. Just the most exhausted I've ever been. Taught me a lot about playing music and about how live music should be. It's something that I reflect on really, really fondly. Just working really hard on the pub circuit, grinding it out to crowds over and over again. It made us really, really, well, not really good musicians, but certainly more practiced.
Favourite part of being in a band is easily, besides playing, is meeting everyone along the way. All the support, friends, it's just been ace. All the bands I've played in bands since I can remember. My first band was my dad and brother. We've done a couple gigs lately with them. Played in metal bands going through school, done a lot of other bands. But every single time, It's meeting everyone at the shows. It's been ace.
Favourite part of being in a band, I think definitely the kind of the community that we built, the family and friends around us, as well as the rest of the band. I suppose I better say I kind of like them as well. Feels like we've really kind of forced a scene with some of our other good friends and bands. So there's a good mix of us now, and it's meant that we've all got some good momentum behind us. So I'd say, yeah, my favourite part is just the people we've met along the way and the people that are kind of on the journey with us, which has been really nice and interesting to have.
So my favourite part of being in a band, as well as getting to go to all the festivals for free and have a really, really good time meeting lots of the artists and stuff there, is just all of the ridiculous people that you meet. From people coming to your shows, to venue owners, people who put you up overnight, just the weird, wonderful people that you meet. You would never guess, my God, some of the nights. And I think that's the part that I missed most now being in lockdown, is seeing all those new people, but also old friends that we've known for a long time. It's really hard looking back on a summer where we've not had any festivals whatsoever and we've not seen any of our friends, and just feeling like that big music family that we know and love. It's hard without it at the moment, but better times ahead. We're looking forward to its return.
I mean, apart from the playing, obviously, which we dearly miss. Yeah, the travelling, I suppose. It's really cool to just go wherever. We've been some crazy places. You know, meeting people that you never would have met otherwise. Variety is the spice of life, isn't it? I quite like driving a van because A, it gives me something to do. I think it was Shan asked me why I don't ever bring much entertainment-wise. You know, Brad will be sitting there with his iPad watching a film or something, and Tim will be reading a book and all this. I really like looking out the window. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit simple. I just really like it. It's just interesting to see where you're going and stuff. Like, for example, driving to Settle in Yorkshire was incredible because you're driving through nothing, through the Yorkshire Dales, and then you dip down into this little valley, go under a train track, and you're in Settle. And then all of a sudden you're not in Settle anymore because it's back there. But it's that sort of stuff. It's amazing. It's discovering these places. And when we were lucky enough to play in Lucerne at Blue Balls Festival, that was amazing.
So my favourite part about being in the band is getting to meet amazing, awesome, funny, bonkers people wherever we roam. Other bands that we get to meet in venues and like supporting and festivals and stuff. We get to share stories and go on the lash. Not to mention the people we meet who just come to show after show after show, and we get to know them and hear all about their wacky lives and like what they're doing and how they came to find us, and find so much companionship and relation to hundreds if not thousands of other people all over the country. We get to go to so many new cities now, actually over in Europe and stuff, and experience it like a punter, you know, not just go there for like an all-inclusive or something. You know, we're getting involved in setting up some shows or a festival, meeting some people, going to the pubs and crashing out at the locals' place, and you can't beat it. Being able to just like go into a different compartment of myself and go nuts on stage and let loose and like pour my heart out and scream and jump around and crowd surf and mosh, and doing that like on the reg, it has actually like been such a lifeline. It's just become so integral in my general well-being and my life. I wouldn't have gotten the chance to do it if it wasn't for the band. It makes me feel humble about what we do and where we are and why we get to go about it still these days. Along those lines, seeing people with our stuff tattooed all over them, my stupid drawings and lyrics and logos and stuff, that's bonkers, and I love it so much, and you guys are awesome. It's got to be a few of my favourite parts of being in Blackwater County.
Personally, I'm not a huge fan of music videos. As soon as the camera gets put in front of me, I'm like, ugh. So they can be really fun. I mean, especially I'd say for me, the most fun's been the Rise and Fall video. Getting to play sort of different characters and dress up and different stuff was really good fun. So definitely be my favourite. But then some of the ones we've done on the new album were also really fun as well. There'll Be a Day is a really good video, but it was so cold when we filmed it, like unbelievably cold. So in the middle of a maze, in the middle of nowhere, literally like taking off layers and layers to film your scene, then quickly running back and chucking them all back on again. And then we also have the dizziness of the Who Am I Now video and the mirrors, so that was also interesting.
The music videos are certainly the best fun to film. I'm not a massive fan of being on camera, but like sometimes the costumes, sometimes just the scenarios. Generally when we're shooting a video, it's just so much fun. Whether or not we get our friends involved, whether we get our family involved sometimes. Working out all these weird little creative bits in the heat at the moment. Just creating something that gives a visual to a song that you've already recorded, and just getting all that back and seeing it put together nice and professionally is just so rewarding. It makes all the time and the effort that you put into it just feel like it's been so well spent. And some of the people that have edited our videos together have just been so talented. Without them, they wouldn't look nearly as good.
As I'm sure a lot of the band will say, I'm rubbish with the music video thing. I just don't really get it. I'm the bane of Shan's life in that scenario. You know, it can be fun. It can be a laugh. The Rise and Fall video was a right laugh. Filming that was very funny. Video for memories. I was so hungover. I went out in an absinthe bar the night before. That didn't go well. Wandering through the forest in a completely disinterested manner. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but the video for, oh god, what song is it? One of the songs off the new album. I'm not even in it. I couldn't make it. That's why there's all different people playing banjo and stuff. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit useless. Mind you, the Fuel by Cider Ladies' Day thing, that was really cool. It was a whole nother challenge of like syncing up all these different videos and stuff. We've got loads of different audio feeds, so like, you know, some people might be recording through a decent mic, some people are just on their phone. It's a bit mad, but it was a cool challenge to get that to sound decent. It's one of these extra things you don't necessarily realise you have to do.
So I love making music videos and making content and silly things to put online and doing the crowdfunding campaign, making all of this stuff that surrounds Blackwater County. Some of the videos we've done over the years have just been kind of, but you know, we were kids and everything got us to where we are today, and we work with some really cool people. Personally, my favourite is Living and Giving, for sure. I was coming up with a few ideas for videos off the new album, and I wanted to do a spoofy video basically influenced by the late 90s and early 2000 pop punk videos that we all grew up on, which in turn were influenced by hip-hop videos. So I was researching and studying and scrutinising attributes of these videos, and I drew up some plans and made some costumes, and we smashed it out and just did something a little bit different to what we normally do. But yeah, just like getting the guys to be a bit goofy and try something a bit different was brilliant. And yeah, it's like, this is my favourite project today.
Obviously I haven't made any with Blackwater yet, hopefully we'll do one soon. It just shocks me the amount of effort that goes in and how many people were willing to help turn up, be in the video, and all the effort that goes into making these videos is wicked.
I mean, the number one festival moment's going to be Beautiful Days.
Beautiful Days.
Beautiful Days.
Beautiful Days.
We were on the second stage there, and yeah, that was awesome. Just walking out onto stage with all those people out there was incredible. Another favourite festival moment was probably playing Llama Tree, because that was a festival that we'd all been going to kind of even before we were in a band, and we'd tried for so long to get in there, and when we finally got in there it was a big like, yes, we've finally done it. That was another good moment. And then just any of the Fuel by Cider festivals are always full of great moments. They definitely have to have a mention in there as well.
Okay, well, I think in terms of playing, Beautiful Days last year, hands down, is the winner. That was amazing. You guys filled the big top. No one was expecting that. That was just crazy. We were having people turning up who said, oh, I just saw loads of your t-shirts around, so I thought, oh, I should probably go see you. Amazing festival, absolutely epic. The crew, the organisers, everyone was brilliant. The crowd was phenomenal. Another epic festival thing was Cursus last year. That was brilliant, because we were on at like 5 in the afternoon on a Friday. And it was our old drummer Josh's stag do. You know, Andy and Vinny from Imprints joined us. That was brilliant. But yeah, the Larkin About, Dorset Steam Fair, I think, is the winner for the Larkin About. The stupidest stuff happened. We used to get so smashed before playing. You know, Tim would walk on stage and fall over, Lock Lomond, and we did the running around thing at the end, and I jumped over the barrier at the front, fell over, stacked it on the ground. Matey boy picked me up, whoever he is, and threw me to his friend, who threw me somewhere else. You know, we stole Dr. Busker's beer. that he wasn't particularly happy about. Me and my mate Pi nearly missed one of the slots at that festival because we were sitting in a cider tent singing Wurzel songs.
Getting to play Boomtown full stop was epic and a dream come true. I know it sounds really lame, but it's like my favourite place ever. Just seeing people like walking past and just get pulled into the crowd and join in the crazy like knees up mud splattering chaos that ensued was wicked, and we had so much fun and made so many friends. Like we thought we'd be playing to like our mums now they want a Boomtown. No. We've played some freaking awesome festivals. Started from like the Steam Fair and Wimborne Folk Festival and stuff, but now we've got some incredible memories of thousands of people at the Big Top and beautiful days singing back to us. That has got to stick with all of us for a long, long time. And all the goofy shit that comes with festivals and stuff. Getting to hang out with your buddies and then make some music and then go out and hang out with your buddies and get pissed some more and see your favourite music. Just can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Favourite festival moment would have to be meeting Goldie Looking Chain at Festival a couple years ago. We played on the same stage as them. They played a few slots after us, and I love them as soon as they come out. They obviously went big in the charts years and years ago, but it was ace. Went backstage, had a couple beers with them. They were really down to earth. It was one of my highlights of festivals.
I think it might have been the first time that we were playing at Boomtown. The main stage had just finished up for the Saturday night, and I lost the band. I lost everyone that we were there with, and everyone woke up in the morning, just started throwing stuff at my tent, and then eventually they opened my tent to find that I just wasn't in there. And they found me just in a heap the next day at around midday, looking dishevelled and awful, and they picked me up and helped me on my way. While it wasn't that fun, in the immediate aftermath, I can look back on it now really, really fondly. That was a great night. Every time you meet a new band, there is always stories that come out of it. And just some of the banter and just the good times. I miss it so much in lockdown.
The one that springs to mind, I'm not sure if it's necessarily part of a tour. When we played at Eifele Folk Punk Festival in Germany, that was my birthday when we drove out there. I had 2 boxes, 2 20-litre boxes of Scrumpy in the van. So we got royally smashed before we even got to the ferry. I think the guys at the port were just like, who the hell are you? We then drove to the festival the next day, got plied with so much beer, played a gig, amazing gig somewhere in Germany. And then, of course, the infamous breaking down in Belgium on the way back. So we broke down, so they towed the van to the service station, and then they took the van away. So we're stranded in the middle of Belgium. We got on the ferry as foot passengers, got very drunk, got off the other side, and they sorted out a taxi to take everyone back to the registered address of the van. It was Bournemouth. So they dropped me off, because I was a student in London at the time. They dropped me off at Folkestone rail station. I got a train back to London, got back and met my mates down the pub. They were all like, "You alright?" I'm like, And I couldn't do any rigging that week because I'd left my boots in the van and it was somewhere in Belgium.
Touring is the tits. Touring is the actual tits. From our first tour that we ever did, we went on the road with the Eskies for a few of their dates in their English leg. What a blessing that was. We convoyed up to some places, and night after night we sort of chatted a bit more, opened up a little bit more, until we were getting drunk with each other in a travel lodge car park, chatting until the wee hours and getting up to mischief, going on adventures. And I think that we were so lucky to have that introduction into tour life, and those guys are friggin' awesome, and we all hold that little era so close to our hearts, and we'll never forget it. Having you guys to look up to is just, can't beat it, man, can't beat it. And now, we've had a couple of our own headline tours across the UK. So many shenanigans happen, trying to shave people in their sleep, dragging people around in sleeping bags, sleeping in grotty places, sleeping in friggin' awesome places, sleeping in random places, sleeping in car parks, drinking in many pubs, playing games on the road, listening to music on the road, trying to keep each other sane. Puns for days, puns after puns. I think that's the the bread and butter foundation of Blackmore County, to be honest.
Okay, so number one would have to be with our old drummer Josh. I remember waking up, seemed like very early one morning in Settle. And I mean, I feel sorry for Gav because he didn't wake up quite as pleasantly as the rest of us. We all heard Josh messing around and just being Josh because he was so annoying in the mornings. He decided that it was a good idea to take a electric razor to Gav's chest. So unfortunately for Gav, he lost some hair in that moment, but the rest of us woke up laughing. So I think it was on the first tour we did. It's the first time we kind of did a long run of dates up north. We just got treated so well up there. Everyone was so lovely, and it's kind of, like I said, the first dates we'd done up north. So in general, that whole tour, especially I think the second half of it, which was up north, was really nice to meet so many new people up there, but also we got fed well, we got, you know, places to sleep, as much beer as we could drink. So I think, yeah, that whole experience, we love playing up north. So yeah, that's definitely another favourite memory.
One of my favourite tour stories that has happened to us, I think we might have been playing in Hull. We did our gig, it was great. Went back to the place where we were staying. Just full disclosure, the place was cheap. To sleep all 6 of us, I think it was, a Happy Meal at McDonald's. It was unbelievable. And we arrived there. Brad took one step inside and said, nah, and got himself a taxi to a Premier Inn down the road and stayed there by himself for the rest of the stay at the hotel that we had booked. For everyone watching this, Brad is a little princess, and he will admit that freely himself.
Like, normally I would say my guilty pleasure is S Club 7, but I'm not really guilty. Like, I'm not one to get secretive about things like that. So who would not love S Club 7? I reckon I've probably had more black eyes than any kid in history because I used to play cricket and stand too close to the cricket bat, and I always took a cricket bat to the face. So I have a black eye in most of my preschool photos. They say it was a cricket bat, but I can't really remember, so it could have been my mum. I've recently started surfing. I'm not very good at it, but I've started trying. So,
a fun fact about me that not many people know is that when I was a young child, and I mean a young child, we're talking about 2 or 3, I was on a walk with my parents, and it was winter, depths of winter, it was freezing cold, and we were walking past a frozen lake. And my dad thought, wouldn't it be really, really funny if I held Tim by the back of the coat and made him pretend like he's walking on the ice? And then what he did was he dropped me through the ice. Any lack in brain function now I attribute to hypothermia at an early age because my dad dunked me in a massive ice bucket. Cheers, Dad.
If anyone watches our Instagram stories, you might have seen me like knitting in the van. I'm an avid knitter. Hats for days. Keeps your hands busy on 8-hour van journeys up north. Guilty pleasure? I mean, the band? No. I love hip hop and frequently try to sneak songs into our shared playlist for van journeys, which get shut down quite quickly. When someone else is driving, like late at night, I'll be like, hell yeah, I'll stay up with you, I'll be DJ, and they're just like, no. I love getting tattooed. Not really that secret. Managed to get the guys involved in like an anniversary tattoo when we all went into our favourite studio. Shout out to Adorned. I can like cross one of my eyes and move the other one around. I'm not very good at remembering jokes, but I can do that.
Oh, I can do this. I can turn my hand around 360 degrees. Woo! Yeah.
Now I've had to do this twice because I recorded it wrong, and Shan shouted at me. She didn't shout. I learnt on a YouTube video, I don't know why, you can do this. And this is all I've got. Creme caramel and a Wallow. How did I fuck that up?
And next up, on Between Two Ferns.
Women. No.
That's a lie.
Did not put that in there.
What's wrong if we had called Woody?
Can I say get reversing into a taxi? I'm never going to say that.
Fuck. Shit. Oh, not interesting.
So,